Hello students, today we are again going to start our same chapter of business studies, that is Principle of Management part 3rd. In this part we are going to discuss the major contribution of F.W. Taylor. The F.W. Taylor, called the father of scientific management. We can't forget the major contribution of F.W. Taylor. So, here are some background and history of F.W. Taylor. That F.W. Taylor was born in USA in 1856. In 1878, he joined a company as a mechanical engineer, and the name of that company is Medieval Steel Company. Using his engineering background, Taylor set many scientific principles, and the Taylor's principle mainly based on efficiency of workers and optimum utilization of resources. But there are some problems in the Taylor's principle, that there are lack of planning, and also their working methods are very haphazard. Some contribution of F.W. Taylor is Taylor published many books and research papers related from scientific management. His major contribution that publish, the name of that publishing is Shop Management, Piece Rate System, Principle of Scientific Management, and for all this we will going to discuss further in detail. And he adopted many scientific methods related to scientific management. Here some important principles of Taylor. Then first one is science not rule of thumb. According to this principle, Taylor insists that the job performed by the organization based on proper experience, research, or inquiry, not hit and miss method, means not by chance. For example, Taylor insists that if any method adopted in the organization, that should be based on proper inquiry, not should be adopted by chance. It means if we try some method and this method may be wrong or right, it depends on situation. But if the method is wrong, that time we can try new method. That is not the rule of Taylor. Taylor said that before doing, thinking must be necessary. So that is the rule of principle of Taylor. So for example, for completing any work, standard time or standard method for doing that work should be analyzed. That is not estimated. For example, if we want to complete a chapter, but before completing the chapter, we will analyze that how much time are required for completing this chapter. So that is the Taylor's principle. If we think that we can complete this chapter in 2 days, I think so. That is called estimation. So that is not Taylor's method. The next principle of Taylor is harmony, not discord. According to this principle, Taylor said that harmony, it means mutual give and take. In simple, there are two groups of people in an organization. The first group is workers group and the second group is management group. And the both groups are rival for each other. The worker always feels that they are underpaid or getting less salary and they are doing much work as compared to their salary. It means they are overburdened. And the management always feels that they give much salary as compared to the work of their workers. So they always feel jealous each other. So Taylor suggests that or insists that there is need of both the groups to change their attitude. It means both groups think according to another point of view. It means the worker can think management can point of view and the management can think the worker's point of view. That changes in the behavior is called mental revolution. The next important principle of Taylor is cooperation, not individualism. According to this principle, and that principle is the extension or descriptive way of harmony, not discord. According to this principle, Taylor insists that before deciding any work, the management can consult to their workers also. For example, before assigning the job to their workers, it is the responsibility of every management to consult their interest to their workers and assign the work according to the interest of the workers. If the work is assigned according to interest, that time worker will perform that work more efficiently. That is beneficial for the worker as well as for the organization. That is the principle of cooperation, not individualism. Now, the last principle of Taylor is development of workers to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. According to this principle, it is the responsibility of every management that provide proper training or proper development with the help of workshops, seminar of experts is the responsibility of every organization. With the help of the training or many programs, that is workshop or seminars, the employees become more efficient. That is also beneficial for both the groups, for organization as well as for workers. Now, the scientific techniques of Taylor. The first technique is functional foremanship. According to this technique, Taylor suggests that the factory should be classified into two departments. The first department is planning department and the second department is production department. Taylor felt that the employee or workers feels burdened. So, if the work divided according to their capability, that time they feel free from the burden. So, Taylor suggests that division of factory. And according to this division, the planning department do the work of planning and that department is free from the production. And the production department do the work of production and that department free from the planning. Taylor also suggests that in each department, some functional experts also hired on. It means each department should be further classified in 4 other parts. 4 specialists in production department and 4 specialists in planning department. So there are 8 specialists. Here, according to Taylor, the factory manager divide the whole factory into 2 parts. The first one is planning in charge, the second one is production in charge. In planning in charge, there are four clerks. The first one is instructions card clerk, the second one is route clerk, the third one is time and cost clerk, the fourth one is disciplinarian. The production in charge also further classified into 4 parts. The first one is speed boss, the second one is gang boss, the third one is repair boss, and the last one is inspector. Now we will going to discuss one by one. Under planning department, the first one is instruction card clerk. That is first in charge. The work of instruction card clerk is to provide instruction related to the production to the workers. That is the major responsibility of instruction card clerk. The second one is route clerk, to provide proper route of production, that which work complete first and after that which work should be completed. That is the responsibility of route clerk. The next one is time and cost clerk. That clerk prepare time and cost sheet for completing the work. In advance, the time and cost clerk prepare a sheet that in how much time the production should be completed and what is the cost of that production. That is decided by the time and cost clerk. The fourth one is disciplinarian. The role of that clerk is to maintain the proper discipline in the organization. That is the work of that clerk. Now, under production department, there are 4 clerks. The first one is speed boss. The speed boss always ensure the work should be completed on time or not. The work is accurate or not. That is the work of speed boss. The next one is gang boss. Arrange new machine, new tool and the resources. That is the work of gang boss. With the result, that is there is no delay in the production. Repair boss. To ensure proper working condition of machine and tools. Then, what is the basic difference between gang boss or repair boss? So, the difference is the gang boss always works on new machine and new tools, but the repair boss works on old machine or old tools. It means related to repair of machinery and tools, that is the work of repair boss, and purchasing of new machinery is the work of gang boss. The last one is inspector. To check the quality of the product is the work of inspector. Now, the remaining techniques we will discuss in next video.